Zero Season 4 starts right now. I'm Brandon Davis, joined today by Jamie Jurack.
Good morning. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Season. We got Jenna Anderson.
Hey, everybody. Happy New Year.
And we got Aaron Perrine.
This looks like the Avengers assembling. Or what are you trying to tell us, Brandon?
I don't know what you're talking about. We got a big show today, though. We got a 2024 show today. We got a lot to talk about on today's show. Welcome to Phase Zero Season 4. Let me give you a quick little taste, a little sample platter of what's going to happen on today's show. We're going to go talk about some of the big news that happened that's going to really affect the year and the next coming years with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Then we're going to talk about all the movies and what we think of them, what we know about them when we're getting them. Then we're going to talk about all the TV shows, what we think about them, what we know about them when we're getting them. And then, just stay to the end, little post-credit scene on Phase Zero today. One, I promise you, you don't want to miss. It's about some certain real estate in New York City. So we got to talk about that. There's some exclusive updates we got, too, about some of these shows. So some stuff you're going to hear for the first time on Phase Zero because it's the Season 4 premiere. I was like, well, let's not do this anything less than 101% of the way, right? So everybody excited? Everybody thrilled? Everybody high on life? New Year 2024?
Hell yeah.
Let's go.
Okay.
New intro music.
Yeah.
New intro music. If you're watching on YouTube, you got to hear the minute-long countdown, which is now a minute instead of 5. You don't have to wait so long for us. And also, we got that intro that if you're listening in podcast form, I'm pretty sure that's there too. And we got some hot new music. It's a new year. It's a new show. It's a new me. Let's go. It's new all of us. All right. Anyway, it's a new Kang. And we might be eating our own words. At least I am. Because we went around here just at the end of the year last year and we said, would you rather recast or just move on from Kang? And I'm pretty sure all 4 of us said, move on from Kang.
Nope.
Aaron did not.
Aaron said Kang, recast Kang.
Yeah.
Aaron just knows. Aaron just gets it. If you've been listening for 3 years, you know. If there's one person on the show you can actually trust, it's Aaron Perrine.
Except for
Aaron,
rankings
smarter than Marvel.
Except on Secret Invasion.
Well. Aaron, I was trying to put you over. All right, remember that.
Oh, thank you. I just 2023 rankings prove otherwise, but everything else I think I've been okay. God, don't ask me about Secret Invasion.
See, the thing is, when you try, when it's like a prediction show, it's tough. But when it's just off the cuff, we show that big brain. It's always big braining. It sees things that the rest of us don't. So Jenna, Jamie, and myself sat here. We were like, well, maybe it's time to just move on from Kang. And then Daniel RPK comes in with this rumor, which I can tell you there's some validity to it. Coleman Domingo is being considered as the new Kang the Conqueror in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm back. I'm fully back with this. I think Coleman Domingo is a tremendous talent. He is in. If you have any of you guys watch Zola,
Multiple times. That movie takes place very close to where I'm from.
It's so good.
Zola, if you haven't seen Zola, it's the Twitter movie based on like the Twitter thread. And I'll leave the rest of the description of what it's about for you to go investigate. We got kids listening to the show, but it's great. It's a fantastic film. I love that movie. And Coleman Domingo plays 2 variants basically in this movie. In that movie alone shows I think he has what it takes to play Kang. He's been on Fear the Walking Dead. He's been in Euphoria. He's been on so many things. And he's the voice of Unicron in the new Transformers. Coleman is a tremendous talent. So first of all, based on his talent, what do you guys think? Jenna, Jamie, I'm gonna come to you guys first. As the people who were with me on it might just be time to move on from Kang camp. Are you back? Are you is this casting doing anything to change your mind, or are you still kind of just like, well, whatever?
I'm open to any possibility, and I think that they probably still are, and they're probably still exploring a lot of options given the situation and how quickly everything is now developing. But if this is something that they are pursuing, I definitely think it's a great option. And I think it didn't even occur to me as a really good Kang option, but I think he would be great. I'm still not going to rule out the chance that this might completely fall through and they might just pivot to somebody else. But if we do keep going with Kang, this is a pretty good option.
Jamie, what you thinking?
I think he's such a great actor and has proven with Zola that he can be scary. He can be a villain. He's in the awards conversation right now for Rustin, which is currently streaming on Netflix. I mean, I think that he would crush in any part. That doesn't necessarily change my mind in terms of if I think they should keep Kang going. I think that if he does do it, he's got a lot to contend with. He's, no matter what, there will be people comparing performances. It's just inevitable. I know people who I still sometimes hear the words Terrence Howard was a better roadie all these years later, which is so funny. Get over it. And so I know, Aaron's face, I know. I won't shame the person who I hear that from often, but I do hear it often. But anyway, I just think that if it happens, fine. I mean, I think he will be amazing, but it doesn't necessarily change my mind in terms of how I want this to go.
It doesn't make the story we've already gotten better. I'll give it that. I know.
Absolutely.
I love Coleman so much that I'm on board. I think he's tremendous. Aaron, go ahead, take your victory lap. Go ahead.
Funny.
I'm
so
this
shook
is, of
off
course, without knowing if this is true. I know might be getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, but I'm still so shook at who the heck is still you gotta get the arc reactor, man. You gotta get the arc reactor. I don't understand who's still doing that in 2023. Empire was a decade ago. That's crazy. Wow.
Next time, baby.
So other than that, Coleman is really, really super accomplished. Has all the bona fides. Rustin's good. He's in Color Purple. If you want to see what the most recent thing he's been in, Field Street. He's in 42. He's in Candyman. Naya loves him. So man, he's in my rating. I don't know. I know non-BET circuit's gonna be who the heck is this guy? Unless they watch The Walking Dead or Euphoria. But I was he can do this. He can absolutely do this. And my thing was, a straight line is the easiest way from point A to point B. And if you've already got lunch boxes being printed and merch being made and whatever, it's kind of hard to just chalk all this other stuff that's in the production line just to jumpstart Dr. Doom. That's really hard. Everyone keeps saying that. It's just they're just gonna Michael Waldron's gonna be haha, I had a whole script ready to go. That's not how any of this stuff works, as our next topic is going to teach us. So I don't blame y'all, because the whole half the internet was on that too. They're just do Dr. Doom, it's fine, blah, blah, blah. And they're the same people that in 6 months after Deadpool are going to be where's my Avengers movie? So the two things don't work together. Either you get the Dr. Doom story and it's 8 million years in the future and it's just the ants watching it, or we get Avengers 5 on time. Those are the options. That's it.
Well, I'd say this, Kang or no Kang, I'm going to be on the Where's My Avengers movie train.
Exactly.
Beating that drum in the streets until the freaking movie comes home. But yeah, no, you make points, Aaron. You make points.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you right there with me. You know Coleman's got the goods for this. If anybody, you know he's got the goods for this.
I got to say that Coleman's not only a very talented person. I've known Coleman for a long time. I've known Coleman for probably damn near close to a decade now. I started interviewing him when he started on Fear the Walking Dead. That's how I was introduced to him. And him and I, we almost developed a project together. And I working with him and getting to know him and spending time talking to him, and just knowing people who know him. I don't know anybody that I've interviewed, that I've had this many conversations about or with, that I've never heard a person say a bad word about. You can't not root for this guy if you've ever met him. He is just a really good dude, and everybody else who has met him says the same thing. So I think maybe I'm even more back on board with the Kang train because I'm rooting for Coleman in that way. I'm such a big fan of his as a human and as an actor.
That's so lovely. I do want to say something to Aaron's point, though. I just want to argue Aaron real quick, because Aaron's basically implying that you have to build up the villain before you can have an Avengers movie. But my favorite villain in the MCU is Ultron, and there was no Ultron before that Avengers movie. So it is possible to introduce a villain in an Avengers movie. I just want to bring that out. But also, Brandon, that was so nice, and you did get me a little more excited. That's really nice to hear.
And I agree with you on that point too, at the Ultron point. If they weren't going to do Kang, I think I said this before, but it was just make an Avengers movie with a villain. Doesn't matter who. Just make somebody a villain. Make it Wenwu a villain. I don't care. He's still alive. And then all of a sudden, everybody's got to come together to fight him. Just figure it out to get the relationships, the friendships, the rivalries, the frenemies of the Avengers. I'll make that all interesting. But it sounds like maybe we're still going to get Kang Dynasty. But they need a director, too.
Yes.
But anyway, all right. This is the 2024 preview show. We got a lot more to talk about. We can't spend any more time on this.
Sorry, Aaron.
Everybody's seemingly pretty on board. So, Kevin, come on. Just pay the man. Get him on there. We're all buying the tickets if it's Coleman. But one bummer of a bit of news here. Steven Yeun dropped out of Thunderbolts. They said it's scheduling conflicts, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Steven Yeun is no longer going to be Sentry. Thunderbolts needs a new Sentry. To me, that just kind of stinks all around. There's no other way to say it. I love Steven Yeun, and that would have been cool.
I felt so bad for Jenna.
The discourse around this was so funny. I just have to say, because also the rumor first circulated on DCU leaks, and people were like, how can you trust them? They don't even have anything to do with this franchise. And I was like, they have nothing to lose or gain by suggesting that this is a thing. And so I honestly believed them when they tweeted that out. And then later that night it got confirmed. So it sucks. I would have loved to have seen his version of Sentry. Like, people are already doomsdaying, and by people I mean Jim Viscardi, of whether or not Sentry is even in this movie anymore, which I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I feel like this movie is just a mystery box when we're still kind of sitting here not knowing if Ghost is even in this movie, and we haven't known for like a year and a half. So it sucks. I'm very curious to see what this project actually develops into, because they kind of have to start filming sooner or later.
Yeah. I don't think Sentry had a big role in the movie in the first place. I'm pretty sure it was a smaller supporting role, but who knows? Yeah. I mean,
I believe this very, very well could be some like big drama that we don't know about, but also I also really believe that it's just the strike happened and things got shuffled around, and he probably has a project he's more excited about and chose over this. I really think that's probably what it is, but it is interesting to see this happen right when Marvel used to be the get for actors. It was the biggest thing you could do, and now we're seeing actors, it looks like, choosing other things over it, and that comes back down to the Fantastic Four thing, where it's like they clearly asked everyone in Hollywood if they wanted to be in that movie, and then they were like, no thank you, I don't want to commit to that, but cool idea. So I also thought Thunderbolts had started filming before the strike shut everything down.
Yo,
so
me too.
I was like, oh no, maybe it was just, I guess, pre-production, but I totally thought that it was like, what are they gonna do? But no,
I keep forgetting they have not rolled cameras on that movie at all yet, for some reason. Aaron, any thoughts on Glenn dropping out?
Roll the Nia DaCosta clip where she's like, well, you see, I signed up for a thing, and then they pushed it a year, and then they pushed it 4 more months, they pushed it 6 months, and there was no more time, so I had to go do other stuff. And I feel like that's exactly what's going on here. We all love palace intrigue. People love palace intrigue so freaking much, but the real world is much more boring. It's so much more boring, y'all, than we want it to be. Like, and Steven is great. My joke is, this is Robert Kirkman's fault.
I was just about to say.
I got a message from somebody on Instagram yesterday. It said, do you think that Steven Yeun got fired because of Robert Kirkman?
I saw people say, oh, he left this to go play live action Invincible. It's like, he is so much older than Invincible ever would need to be in live action. I have your pipe dream, but there is no universe in which that's actually happening.
He's not playing live
First
action.
of all, doesn't Rob got enough going on without a live action Invincible movie? Can we get through the cartoon, the excellent cartoon first before we start doing the live action thing? It's my biggest pet peeve. People just you don't need it. I swear you don't. Go watch Gen V again. Feel better.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Since we're going to talk about 2024, and we're now allowed to roll out some of the Echo interviews, before we get into our movie preview for the year, how about we hear from Marvel's Brad Winderbaum, who's head of streaming animation and television, who I asked him. Clearly, things are changing. Actually, I think the question is included in the clip. So let's just roll the clip. Studios and TV and streaming has shifted the schedule quite a bit going forward. I'd love to hear about how you guys are kind of learning from the past couple of years and all the stuff you've done, and how you're applying that to what's coming in the coming years.
It's such a great question. We've learned a lot. We've produced a lot of content very quickly, and we're primarily a filmmaking company. So you can see that our first round of shows have a very movie-like structure. They arc out the characters by the end. They feel like standalone limited series. Moving forward, our content is going to feel a lot more like television. That kind of drives towards the horizon, drives towards the future, can keep people engaged for longer periods of time in a more lean-back setting of your living room to set it apart, frankly, from the big cinematic event experiences in the movie theater.
Awesome. Marvel clearly paying attention, clearly trying some new stuff. I appreciate that he gave a very transparent answer as well.
I love that answer. I will say two things. First of all, to bring up the MCU Reign of Marvel Studios book, like they dive into the television process and how treating that like a movie production did not ultimately work in some ways. And that is worth mentioning here. It's also, we've said this on the show multiple times, but the strikes and the way that the strikes were resolved and what the, new resolution is also kind of has to have them make this more of a TV production as opposed to a movie production. So I welcome it. I'm glad that we're at this point.
It's this kind of change going from only movies to so many shows and everything. They're going to be growing pains. If it had all just gone smoothly and perfectly, I think that would be crazy. So I just have hope and faith that they are on the right track and figuring out their business.
Yeah. All right. We're going to take, Aaron, you got anything you want to say?
No, we can take a break.
I saw you unmute and I was like, hold on, we got to let the prophet speak.
No.
Yeah.
No.
What's going to happen in 2024? When that mic comes unmuted, I'm like, I got to get some lottery numbers ready. All right, we're going to take a quick 1 minute break. We come back, we're going to talk about the movies of 2024, then the TV and animation of 2024, and then something really interesting. I promise you, it's if you have anything in common with me, it's worth the wait at the end of the show. So we'll see you in a moment. Welcome back to Phase Zero, where we're talking about 2024 because we're in it now. Might as well talk about it. And that means we're getting 4 Marvel movies this year, 1 from Marvel Studios and 3 from Sony. And the first one up, the tangled web we're weaving.
Madam Web sweep, everybody. Let's get started. So Madam Web is the first Marvel movie of 2024. It comes out on February 14th. It is directed by S.J. Clarkson of The Defenders, Jessica Jones, Life on Mars. The cast that we already know and that the first trailer confirmed is Dakota Johnson as Cassandra Webb, Isabella Merced as Anya Corazon, Sydney Sweeney as Julia Carpenter, Celeste O'Connor as Maddie Franklin, and Tahar Rahim as Ezekiel Sims, who was studying spiders in the Amazon with Cassandra's mom. One bit of Madam Web rumor mill that has had the internet very, very intrigued this year is that there's a chance that Emma Roberts and Adam Scott, who are both cast in the movie, are playing Mary Parker and Ben Parker. How do we feel about that?
That would make them siblings?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Interesting. That's I don't know. It seems like a interesting choice, but Ben is a lot older than Mary in the comics.
Technically, yeah, depending on the interpretation.
I could see it. They're both good actors. Why not?
This seems, while I don't know if this is true, who knows? This is like IMDb credits type thing. And sometimes those are before the movie comes out aren't on it. But this seems like just the thing Sony would do to give audiences the feeling of they're actually watching a Spider-Man movie, but they're not. They let's just like throw in a Spider-Man in a trailer and then not even having that shot in the trailer, even if it was just graffiti. But I in the case of Madam Web and the fact that Ben Parker has become quite popular through other mediums and Mary Parker, it's entirely possible. But I honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we see this happen, but it not actually have anything to do with a Peter Parker or a Spider-Man tie at all in Madam Web.
We did see Adam Scott's character be like a paramedic with Cassandra. So if that is Ben Parker, that would be a really kind of interesting track to take him on. But yeah, Aaron, how do you feel about it?
I mean, me and you, we're the banner carriers for this because I know what to expect from the Venom movies, and I have no idea what Kraven the Hunter is going to be at all. I don't think any of us do, but I am intrigued by how just insane it feels like it could be. Like the stuff about spider hunters and obviously Final Destination weird. That's a Raven premonitions. I'm in. I hope all the baddest stuff I've read on Twitter and online is true. I really do.
Also, the chat is clarifying that Mary and Ben are in-laws. That like Mary is Ben's sister-in-law. I got like it's so hard to keep track of, especially if you've read Trouble. It's very hard to keep track of.
Yeah, that's a weird two people to have. Like in-laws. Like there has to be a connective piece in there, right?
Maybe there is, and they just aren't cast yet. Like we have no idea.
I hope they had that movie cast. It seems like,
but I just mean like they aren't like publicly, like we're not publicly aware of who those people are. So
all right, so
yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
Wow.
Okay.
Jeez.
And then BD has another note in here. How do we think the trailers and the poster have impacted the hype around Madam Web? I know Aaron and I have been hyped. We continue to be hyped.
It feels like a Morbius thing where it's just a meme and they're going to be like, oh, the internet's really hyped for this. When really they're just memeing it. And we've learned that that's not the same thing. Making a meme doesn't mean we're going to go to the movies about it.
That's not the final trailer, is it?
No.
No. It's not
it would be like if there's only
6
one
weeks away. They got to drop another trailer soon, though.
Yeah.
Super Bowl Madam Web trailer.
That trailer's tough. I'm not gonna lie. That trailer's tough. The poster is tougher, and I don't mean that in like, oh, that's tough, like a compliment. Like tough, like that's ugly. That poster's tough. I cannot believe they released that poster. The trailer's fine. Like the trailer doesn't really do anything to me. I was more excited about this movie when I was curious about it. Then I saw the trailer and I was like, okay. And that is partially the Morbius burn that I will always wear the scar of, but. That poster was bad. Like I can't. I have not. But I don't.
The poster is for the type of movie that it is, which is a mid-2000s superhero movie, and that I can respect it for that alone.
No, I can't. Do we? Okay, I got one question about Madam Web. I want to get everybody to weigh in on real quick. Madam Web over under 1 Spider-Man. No. Madam Web over under 0.5 Spider-Mans in this movie. Over or under?
I feel like they're going to do something weird. I'm going to say over because I feel like they're going to do some multiversal thing that is going to be super weird and we're not going to be prepared for.
Credit scenes count. I'll count credit scenes.
Yeah, so purely with credit scenes, I would say over.
Yeah.
Jamie?
You're asking if we're gonna get a Spider-Man in this movie? Is that what you're asking?
An appearance from any type of Spider-Man. Peter Parker, Miles Morales. I don't care who it is.
No. I'm gonna say no. Under. Sorry.
This ain't letterboxed. Aaron.
I got over. I'm with Jenna. I don't know if it means he's got to be in the suit or not, but absolutely. Like. If we're gonna do this whole weird Sony multiverse of Spider-Man characters thing, there has to be some other. There's got to be some connective tissue. Why would you tell this story with this character and there's no Spider-Man in it at all? Is wild. I am thrilled that you're getting all these different Spider-Women though. That's dope. But
I just don't understand if it's taking place in the 2000s. How is that going to work? Like, is they going to de-age Toby and he going to show up?
No,
What?
it's probably just gonna be somebody else. Why should it be like Chalamet?
It doesn't even have to be Peter Parker. It could be Ben Reilly. It could be
Yeah.
Miguel O'Hara. It could be any Spider-Man. And for
Okay.
that reason, I'm saying I'm taking the over. I think there will be some Spider-Man in Madam Web one way or another. I'm not saying it's gonna make sense,
It's not gonna be
but I
exactly.
think
It will not.
No, this one's for the girlies. I'm sticking with my under.
All right. Next up, July 26th, we got Deadpool 3. This was originally September, then it was May. Now it's July. Probably going to stick with that date. Sean Levy's directing this one, from Stranger Things, Free Guy, and Real Steel. Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, Jennifer Garner. They're the only cast members we know of officially for this one, right? What's his name from Succession?
Matthew McFadden.
Matthew
Matthew
McFadden.
McFadden, yeah.
We also have Emma Corrin. We
Emma
have Vanessa Miranda Baccarin. We know a lot more people than you have on this list,
That's true. Taylor Swift.
allegedly.
Yeah,
Be careful. Be careful.
Yeah, popular rumor Taylor Swift will play Dazzler in Deadpool 3. My favorite rumor, Mobius is coming back as, Owen Wilson comes back to the MCU for Deadpool 3. TVA is in the movie. I would love that. I don't know if it's true. The fact that there's been nothing to back it up ever since that little rumor started, I'm getting a little nervous, especially in how perfect that Loki ending was. I'd be also nervous if he does show up because he just wants to let time pass and not that much will have passed. But I don't know. Maybe there's just no pleasing me. I would love to see Owen Wilson back. I think he's the best post-Endgame casting. First R-rated movie from Marvel Studios. So here's my question. Deadpool 1 made $782 million. Deadpool 2 made $785 million. Will Deadpool 3 not only make more than those, but will it be $1 billion movie? Because it's the only Marvel movie of the year that has a chance at that.
I think it would take a very, very strong marketing campaign to even remotely get it to $1 billion. I was going to say, just to begin with, I feel like this all, as I was saying on last week's show, hinges on the marketing. And I think if they market this movie correctly, if they make clear, like, this is the only MCU movie this year and it is an event and you need to go see it, I could easily see them getting in the 700s. I'm not necessarily confident on $1 billion just because of the way that this industry is.
Tell you how it hits $1 billion. The only way Deadpool 3 hits $1 billion, and I'm actually being serious, and I could be wrong, but I think the real way Deadpool 3 hits $1 billion is if Taylor Swift is actually in the movie.
Yes.
You're probably right about that. I really think that depends. I think Jen is right on the marketing. Also, how many other movies are coming out in July? How crowded is it going to be? Which was a problem this summer. And reviews will still have a slight part in this. If it gets horrible reviews, that's going to probably affect it. But I think you're right too. I think that Taylor Swift is the way it gets $1 billion, but it's hard. It's so hard to say. The 2023 was so odd. Who knows?
Guardians only made $850,
Yeah.
$845. So, Aaron, what do you think? Profit. Let's hear it. Hold on, everybody. Listen
I
up.
just don't. All this hype. I really do think that it being the only one and being this like fan beloved character, and there have been such a big gap between Echo and this. It is a massive chasm of time. It's the Echo. Is it Madam Web, and then this, and like as far as live action, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My only thing is I wish they had a trailer for Super Bowl because then it would be on. I think we would be fine. I don't think they have enough shot to have a trailer, to be honest, for what's going on for February. That's only a couple weeks away. Jenna's like dubious in the corner. What's up?
No, because the Batman. No, I'm just like purely like the example I will always use is the Batman had a trailer for the first DC fandom off of like a month of footage, and it's still when you look at it in hindsight, you can see how they only filmed so much, but it felt like a full trailer even with that. And so they had half of Deadpool 3 done before they shut down with the strikes. We know that they've picked back up again and they filmed more. I would not put it past them. They almost need to have a Super Bowl trailer in order to really start this marketing campaign right.
I think so too. I do think we'll get a Deadpool trailer around the time of the Super Bowl, if not at the Super Bowl. And I also think if they don't have enough shot to make a trailer by the Super Bowl, they're not hitting a July release date.
Yeah.
That's that, right? If you can't put together 2.5 interesting minutes of the movie, I don't think you're putting together 2 hours of the movie 4 months, 5 months later. I think they'd be in big trouble.
I'm just concerned because they lost so much time due to the strike that there's been so much shifting. Although I do think you literally could do the Ant-Man thing. If there was ever a time for you to do the Ant-Man gag again, this is the time. And just have Jackman and Reynolds like goof around.
I was gonna say, if you just
Channing
put them
Tatum
in,
walk in and be like, "Oh, I showed up here for no reason," and then walk out. Perfect.
If you just sit them down on a couch and just have them vamp for like 2 minutes, that could be your trailer, and people would probably be fine with it.
Oh yeah, sure, for sure.
All right.
But yeah, I hope that this is true. I think it can. I don't think you can take anything from the last 3 to 4 years. I'm Christopher Boozy out here. I'm like, throw all that garbage out. It doesn't mean anything. People don't answer their phones. Like, what are you talking about? Like, nobody knows. I will say Jamie's point about it being crowded in July is probably more than anything. Because what else comes out, Jay? What do we got?
Let's see. July 2024 releases. Let's see. Oh my goodness.
We got it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't have this information in front of me. I'm trying to find it. And some of these are like, is Dune coming out in July?
No, it's in March.
It's in March.
Okay, then this website I'm looking at is of no help.
I've got August pulled up. It doesn't have a lot coming out after it. Borderlands comes out on August 9th, which I don't think is going to really be. It's going to be a similar tone probably of movie, but I think Deadpool has the advantage on that one, and that's in its third weekend.
Yeah, what I'm looking at still has Captain America on there, so I'm giving up.
Despicable Me 4, July 3rd. Mufasa, July 5th, and this is from MovieInsider.com that has the full list. Venom 3. Oh, this has Venom 3 in July. That's wrong.
I was saying Mufasa's in December, ain't it?
Like, yeah, I think we're looking at the same website.
They need to
anyway
that title, by the way. The fact that thing's called Mufasa the Lion King, boy, if you don't change that colon around, what's wrong with y'all? The naming department is where we need to overhaul some of these studios. I'm like, you don't put Lion King first. What's wrong with you? You don't put Avengers.
If they didn't learn from the Birds of Prey title back pre-pandemic, they're never going to learn. All right.
Now that the DCU's dead, we can finally be honest about where the top 3 of that franchise is. I love that.
This is a whole separate conversation. We're not going to get
I know we're not doing
another
that.
20-minute debate.
Let's get into
All
August.
right. But here's something everybody does want to talk about: is Kraven the Hunter. You know, our favorite hunter, non-hunting, slightly vegan, but not really vegan Marvel Comics villain anti-hero. So we got JC Shendor of Triple Frontier. Layla just cheered wherever she is, directing this one. Aaron Taylor Johnson and Russell Crowe going into his closet of accents.
I respect it.
Is he the Rhino? I thought he was Kraven's dad, right?
Who's turning into Rhino at the end of the trailer?
A different guy. I'm totally blanking on the actor's name, but it is not Russell Crowe, because Russell Crowe is
he's
Kraven and Chameleon's dad.
Yeah,
my man.
And he's also Hercules' dad, and he's also Superman's dad.
There we go.
Yeah.
And he also broke Ryan Gosling's finger in a really good underrated movie, Once Upon a Time.
Oh, dear God.
His arm. Great
We
movie,
got
great
all
movie.
of his entire highlights right there. That's nothing else. You don't need any other stuff.
He's a really angry guy in traffic. One might say he's unhinged.
He was the Pope's exorcist.
Oh, right,
Let's not forget Javert, everybody. I named my car after him.
Yes.
Good with a sword.
Hell yeah.
Master Commander is my favorite thing to mention. That doesn't make sense.
That's the best. Let's be honest. Master is the actual best.
Anyway.
Jamie, go to Letterboxd and read more about that from Jamie Dirac. This
Look
is
at what happened
R.
with Craven. We started talking about Craven and we found 100 other things more interesting than Craven.
Exactly.
That's why I picked this, because we can have fun. It's an R-rated feature. The first trailer is out there already. If you haven't guessed from our vamping, it did not inspire confidence. There's been some interviews where they say he won't actually hunt. He's an animal lover, which is very strange, because if you ever picked up anything or played the acclaimed video game Spider-Man 2, you know that's kind of his whole deal, this hunting people down. If you listen to Brandon Davis, at one point he probably was going to be the villain of ye old Spider-Man 3, but we'll never know, unfortunately. You know what? Over under, does he show up in Madam Web at the end?
Oh. I'm taking the under.
That seems more likely than some random Spider Boy.
No, but that doesn't sell tickets, and Sony's more about cheap pops than long-term storytelling.
My only thing is Craven was supposed to come out way before Madam Web, and so I don't know if they would have been able to film something that would make sense when it now is coming out after. It would suck if he's in his like full final outfit from the end of his movie and he shows up in that, and then we have to watch him earn it like 7 months later. So I'm gonna say under.
Tell you what would be the most cost efficient way for Sony to put the over on this one is just do an old fashioned credit scene. And just have a scene from Craven play at the end of Madam Web. You
like
remember
they did with
that?
They did that with Venom and Spider-Verse that one time. So there's precedent.
Yeah, that could happen. Would that count? Would we count that? If we're counting that, I think it's possible.
I think it counts.
Yeah,
it counts.
I'll allow it for sure.
All right.
So go in, get ready to see Aaron Taylor Johnson, who is, by the way, in hilarious shape to be in this movie. Just in tremendous shape. If that's your bag. And hopefully next time we see him, he's wearing a tuxedo. Good luck to you, bud.
All right, we got one more movie this year. One more Marvel movie. Is this me? Oh, okay,
no.
Fine, guys. I'll do this one. Jeez. Y'all know how much I love the Venom movie, so let me talk about Venom 3. This was directed by Kelly Marcel, who previously wrote Venom 1 and 2 and 50 Shades of Grey. We don't really know too much about it. Tom Hardy's back. We saw footage of him wearing that same Hawaiian shirt that he was wearing in that No Way Home credit scene at the very end and the end of Venom 2. Maybe if Spider-Man's involved, there was the toxin tease when old buddy woke up and said monsters in Venom 2, right? There was the symbiote is left in the MCU. Maybe that's a factor. I can't imagine how legally or logically that could be done, but the only one I am concerned with is legally, because logic doesn't really apply to these movies. Will Morbius show up? I don't know. Morbius has made references. Morbius has made references to Venom, that thing in San Francisco, and he also named he said, "I'm Venom." Just kidding. I'm Dr. Mike, whatever. No, will there be a Spider-Man is my question that I wrote down. If there is, I beg for it to be Andrew Garfield. I beg. But then again, that just also wouldn't make any sense because there has been no indication of a Spider-Man. Jamie doesn't like it.
No, it's not that I don't like it. It's just that it's all so ridiculous. Like I would love to see Andrew Garfield. It's just like, yeah, like you said, it's nonsense. None of this makes sense. Brandon like trolled Twitter by asking on the Phase Zero account, what Marvel movie are you most excited about this year? What a dumb question. I can't believe Sony really thinks they can release 3 of these movies in 1 year with any success. And the more we talk about it, the more bored I am just talking about it, let alone sitting through 6 hours of this. Hopefully, maybe they might be 2.5. I don't know the runtime. I don't know.
No, Venom 2 was a clean 90 minutes with credits.
Yeah.
So that was like a 79-minute movie. That was 2 Disney Plus episodes if you're lucky on a Disney Plus show.
I also have to acknowledge, because you don't have it in your notes, Chiwetel Ejiofor and Juno Temple are in Venom 3, right, based off of the reporting that we know. So it's not just Tom Hardy vamping by himself for 2 hours to 90 minutes.
Lobster Tank?
Yeah.
I love both those actors. Juno Temple's great. Chiwetel Ejiofor is fantastic. Probably not playing Baron Mordo, though.
No. You joke, but that was a conversation in our Slack channel the day that he got cast. Everyone was like, how is he Mordo in the multiverse? It's like, he is totally just playing someone completely different. Yeah. It's not going to be connected at all.
He's a new man.
He's a variant. It's okay.
Venom 1 made $856 million. Venom 2 made $506 million. How far does Venom 3 fall, or does it go past that $500 million mark that Venom 2 is sitting at?
Again, I think it's all marketing. I think if they market this well, they could possibly get up to the 500 million again. And I think for something like a Venom movie, and especially the 3rd Venom movie, that is a very admirable box office to reach. I don't think they're hitting the 856. I think that is just a product of a bygone era, but they could do it if they market it right.
I don't think they're hitting 856 no matter what the marketing is.
No.
I think that it has the potential to make more than Craven and Madam Web combined, and that still won't be a lot of money. That's what I think. I think it's going to be the best of the 3, but it's not going to be an impressive number. But people will come out for Tom. They will. Even if it's not a lot of people, I do think it has the best chance of any of these of making any money, but I don't think it's going to do that well.
I think Venom 3 will make the most money of all of them. I also think it will be the best Venom movie of all 3.
it's so funny too because listen, it put up those numbers that same year that Shang-Chi happened, if I'm not mistaken, right?
For
Like,
Venom 2?
yeah,
Yeah.
like theaters were barely open. It still made that's a wild return. It's a wild return for one of these movies. I don't know why. One day when the aliens come down, they will do an archaeological study of why we loved these strange little Venom movies the way we did, along with the other quirks we have as a people. But yeah, I don't think 800's within grasp unless nothing else hits. It is really fascinating to me. Like, this is a real draw. This is like the little engine that could. Even getting to make a third one is really house money, you know. Where you got Tom Hardy on Instagram talking about this is the last dance, and I'm like, it's a Venom franchise. How in the world you're not the Bulls? What is happening? What is going on? But you know, I'm just happy because Jenna, it'll be me and you on the Madam Web reaction episode. From the sounds of it, it'll be us two, Brandon's dog, and Jamie.
And Tony.
Maybe let Tony sit here. Yeah, Tony will be like, I don't know what happened.
I'll tell you, Nova is hyped for Madam Web. She's hyped. I actually, on the Madam Web front, I had notes I forgot to bring up. Madam Web. Did you look at who wrote Madam Web?
The people who wrote Morbius.
Yeah.
People who wrote Morbius. And you know what else they wrote? These are their top 4 movies on IMDb that they're known for. Matt Sazama and Burke Sharpless. Probably wonderful people. I know they're doing their best and they're trying really hard. These are the 4 movies they're known for on IMDb. Morbius, Gods of Egypt, The Last Witch Hunter, and Power Rangers. Are you guys still excited?
Because I can respect a good B movie. Yes.
Terrible. Like, I watched it on FX a lot.
I have fun watching garbage. Same with Aaron. Gods of Egypt, anytime it's on cable, it's like, well, this is just on as background noise now. So
I want Madam Web to be good. I really, really do. I think it has so much potential. I really do, but I have been burned. And I'm just in defensive mode now. I got my shields up. I'm like, oh, you ain't gonna hurt me again.
I need Kofi and Matt to know that the person who wrote the Power Rangers movie wrote this movie now. I need to know what they think. And Nick,
I just want to say that I didn't hate the Power Rangers movie. You know, just want to put that out into the universe. Does that give me faith for this? No, it certainly does not. But I still would like to say some beacon of positivity.
All right, we're gonna move on to TV. We're gonna take a quick break. We come back. There's a lot of TV shows and animation to talk about for next year. And also there's a pretty exciting little exclusive little tease thing that we got coming up at the end of the show, a little post-credit scene coming up on Phase Zero. So stay tuned. This is a great opportunity. If you're listening to us on Twitter, following us on wherever you're watching us, go subscribe to the YouTube channel because we got Echo interviews. We got lots of fun stuff coming up on the channel. We got another live show on Friday that we're going to be doing. It's going to be really cool. You're not going to want to miss that. So subscribe to the channel on YouTube and we'll see you in just a moment. Welcome back to Phase Zero, the 2024 preview episode. We're going to move through these a little quicker. We've been going on a little long here. TV shows. We're going to start in January, just a few more days.
January 9th, that's 6 days away. Echo's coming. Uncle Cox is returning as Maya Lopez. We, first and last seen in Hawkeye. Vincent D'Onofrio and Charlie Cox are back as Kingpin and Daredevil. What a way to start the year, folks. It's the first TVMA series from Marvel Studios. It's a binge release. 5 episodes, so much different stuff going on. Synopsis: it's the origin of Echo revisits Maya Lopez, whose ruthless behavior in New York City catches up with her in her hometown. She must face her past, reconnect with her Native American roots, and embrace the meaning of family and community if she ever hopes to move forward. I think that's cool that a TV, MA, and a rated R all in one year. We're getting dark, folks. What do you think?
So excited.
Here for it.
It's gonna be good.
Aaron's
It's
like,
gonna be good. Listen, I think it's gonna be good. Listen, regular therapy doesn't usually involve guns, so that's what it sounded like. That's what it sounded like. I'm like, oh, that's not what the trailer showed me. There's a lot more people getting their heads hit into objects than in my therapy session. Thank God. It sounds more like watching Guardians of the Galaxy or the Marvels next to Jamie. That's what it sounds like.
Echo right around the corner. It's going to be a new kind of stress relief, it sounds. And yeah, it looks. Jamie saw a bit of Echo a while ago at that event. Was describing that awesome fight scene.
Yeah, that the clips I saw back then got me hyped.
We don't want to confuse that event with D23, which Jamie also went to.
Yeah.
Okay. Just to make
Sometimes
sure
I go to things. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool thing I get to do is go to places and see things.
All right, Rick Grimes.
D23 2024, Jim Viscardi, let's go. Send me.
Jim can't go to events.
Like, I'm sorry, but if they didn't send me to D23, I think that would be really sad.
It would.
Jim Viscardi can't go to events himself because he can't sit in the crowd and not skip things. So, yeah. Jim only had 343 days in 2023 because he spent so much time skipping 10 seconds. I don't know. Anyway, we got anime. Let's switch into some animation here.
Oh yeah. So in a surprise like flip from last year, like a ton of the stuff we've got coming this year is animation. Up first in spring/summer of X-Men 97. Warm up that Whitney Houston because it's X-Men 97. We got a direct follow-up to X-Men animated series. It picks up where the show left off. The new animation looks really crisp. They did did techniques to balance sort of a modern animation aesthetic and then make it also look like that 90s cartoon. Like it does look like Captain Crunch cereal. Like it looks like, Fruit by the Foot in a lot of ways, or Gushers. And tons of merch already is hitting the stores, which is wild. Like to see in physical space, the old style boxes with the plastic, and it's like Wolverine, how you remember. Like it's a weird trip. It's a very, very cool thing. Everybody excited for more X-Men.
That Lego X-Men is calling my name.
Oh.
I'm literally staring across the room at the Madeline Pryor Funko Pop that I bought because it's also just a good version of her comic costume. So I was like, I need to own this. I'm so excited for this show. It's ridiculous.
I forgot this is a feast for you because they're all like the comics. They just look just like it. Oh,
yes. It's going to be great.
I
I love the original series so much. As I've said on the show, I think it does so many things right. It is the best Phoenix Force or Phoenix Saga adaptation by a mile. So I'm so excited to have this show be this year because it's just gonna be so much fun.
I've been putting it on before bed every night, and I'm having sweet, sweet dreams, baby. It is just so good. It is like mind blowing how good that show is, and I'm so excited it's coming back. I just can't believe it's coming back, and it looks so good.
Don't let Jamie play 1602 before sleep. Yeah, X-Men 97 right around the corner. Should be spring, summer, not too far off. That's exciting.
We are here. Would love to talk to Lenore Zan, the directors, all those people. What a journey. I wonder if they ever thought they were going to play these characters again, It's wild.
Probably not. There's no way.
No.
So am I back to back?
Yeah.
Back to back.
Oh boy. So more Aaron. We got Eyes of Wakanda. This is a surprise if you've watched our What If reaction episode with me, Brandon, and Jamie getting to see it. They dropped this on us at the end of that presentation, oh yeah, by the way, there's a whole Wakanda show, which is just wild. The animation's really cool. It looks like a mix of sort of cell shaded and impressionistic stuff. I'm really excited to see what people think about that. We have
awesome,
don't we? Brandon?
Yes. Brad Winderbaum opened up about Eyes of Wakanda.
It's a show we're producing in partnership with Proximity Media, with Ryan Coogler as one of our executive producers. The show was brought to us by Todd Harris, who was a longtime storyboard artist at the company, just like Brian Andrews was, who was the director of What If. And he pitched the show to Ryan, and he pitched the show to Kevin and I, and we were like, let's do it. And it's I don't want to say too much about it, only that people do not see it coming.
Oh, goodness. I'm so ready. So ready. So very, very ready. I got synopsis that they put out as well. So throughout Wakandan history, brave warriors have been tasked to travel the world retrieving dangerous vibranium artifacts. This is their story. We also know that Mark Bernardine from Fat Man Beyond with Kevin Smith wrote 2 of the episodes. And he said that I wrote 2 episodes of it, so I know some things, but I can't say anything because the snipers get a little twitchy. And this is the reason that I couldn't come back for Masters of Evil season 2, because this swallowed my life for about 9 months. And I can't wait till you guys see it because it's so freaking dope. So we're glad that you didn't get sniped, my friend. I'm very happy that you're still walking among us. Also, he did something with the Black Panther video game that they put out. And people thought that's what he was talking about when he said he was working with Marvel. He was like, haha, it was actually this as well. So that's really cool. How's everybody feel about Eyes of Wakanda?
I'm very excited. I not having seen any footage or any idea of what this looks like. I still think it has so much potential to be really, really cool. I also just love the synopsis giving Law and Order, these are their stories energy. That is awesome. I'm hyped.
It just looks beautiful. I'm just really excited to see this animation, and I don't really know much about what's happening other than it looks pretty, and that's something.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. Looks awesome. Animation looks great. I think it's going to be very possible for me by the end of the year between X-Men, Eyes of Wakanda, and Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which we're about to talk about, that I get a little animation burnout. I think I know myself, I'm more of a live action fan, and I've already felt a bit of live action burnout. So I think it'll be easier for me to get animation burnout, mostly because of the way we watch things. We have to watch it through the lens of okay, well, I need a half hour worth of stuff to talk about on this one, which is a good problem to have. I acknowledge it. But in watching What If season 2, watching them back the second time around, I really enjoyed most of those episodes in the first place. I enjoyed all of the episodes, actually. But watching them back, even the ones that I was like, oh my gosh, these, we binged them. And it's just anthology. It was also anthology, so it's a bit different. I don't know if Eyes of Wakanda is going to be an anthology series. But it was just by 6, 7, 8, I was kind of like, okay, I'm a little fried on this right now. And then I watched them again. I was like, man, this whole season's fantastic. So if we get to just have fun with it, obviously that's what I want to do. That's how I want to enjoy this stuff. But I think by the time we get our 3rd live action show, which I don't know the order of these coming out either, or how many episodes, if any of them, we're getting, it's possible I'm going to feel a bit of okay, this is a lot. The daily release on What If was fun, though. I don't know if it's hard to think about, are we going to do weekly episodes of all these shows? We do daily episodes. Are they going to be released as a binge? If they're released as a binge, I'm screwed. I'm just going to be like, man, how are we going to do this? But I think Eyes of Wakanda, specifically because of the animation and knowing very little else about it, it sounds really cool. It looks really cool, I guess is really what I've meant to say.
Way to bring the vibe down. Just to be I'm already burnt out and we haven't seen any of these things yet.
No, that's why I bring the vibe down. I'm just being honest. I think that all of these sound cool. And I have thoughts on Spider-Man too, but Eyes of Wakanda, I have nothing else to say other than it looks tremendous. Visually, that reel they showed us was incredible. And the art differences between X-Men, Eyes of Wakanda, and Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man are crazy. And Eyes of Wakanda looks the best. There's it just looks so damn good with that. It's so creative with that animation. But yeah, I hate fun.
People are in the chat BD hates Marvel. You heard it here first.
Yep. Yeah, I hate fun. I hate Marvel.
All right, well, I'll just get to the third animated show that BD already hates on principle. It sounds like I'm joking. So we don't have a release date for this yet, but Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is supposed to come out in 2024. This was titled Spider-Man Freshman Year. It has since been retitled. I promise not to dead name it anymore. I will call it by its full, much longer title. The art style, which they showed at San Diego Comic-Con in 2022, is inspired by Steve Ditko and Alex Toth. I cannot wait to evangelize about Alex Toth on the show for however many weeks, because he is one of my favorite people in comics, and he is the reason that Hanna-Barbera looks the way that it looks. So I'm very excited to talk about him. We have a huge supporting cast on this show. We have Doctor Strange, Lonnie Lincoln, Nico Minoru from The Runaways. We have Amadeus Cho, Harry and Norman Osborn, Scorpion, Unicorn, Speed Demon, Tarantula, Rhino. One that I'm very excited for is the Wizard, voiced by Paul F. Tompkins, who is one of my favorite comedians ever. So I'm very, very excited for that. And Charlie Cox is supposed to be showing up as Daredevil. So how do we feel about this show?
I didn't know about Nico. You got me a little excited for this dropping the Nico name, because I was like, whatever, and now I'm like, maybe. I didn't know that. Okay.
I feel like I've heard so much about this show, and then it just keeps changing and getting pushed back. And it's like, is it canon? Is it not canon? Is it basically a what if series of Spider-Man, but also not? I feel, I'm excited. I think it's cool, but I'm also kind of worried that it's going to try to be MCU adjacent, which is just going to be one of those things that, like, that's one of those little things that I criticize, like, internally. Now I'm being a little external about. I don't know. Maybe I just in my negative mode now. I said too much. Yeah, nothing. I got Spider-Man. What's it called? Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man seems cool. Eyes of Wakanda seems cool. X-Men '97 seems cool. I think these are all going to be really fun, and I hope they're just that.
As someone who knew or knows like a bunch of the people who worked on this thing, they were concerned this thing was going to get canned. So I'm just thrilled that it actually is going to see the light of day, because that's not a guarantee in this media environment. You might really get like a show you worked on for 2 years of your life get thrown in the trash for dubious reasons. So just having it that way is great. I also just like the vibe of it. I wonder how people would feel if they had never said that thing about this is going to be like the origin story of our Peter. I feel like they probably shouldn't have just said that. I wouldn't have said that to anybody until we knew what was going to happen. You know what I mean? Because as soon as they said that, people started poking holes in what was going on. And I was like, that wasn't the thing to say. That's not right. First of all, if y'all, the implications of the same way Brandon feels about Rhodey being a skull in Secret Invasion is how I feel about you telling me there was a Norman Osborn in this universe that had waves that make you seasick and we didn't meet him in real life. Why? But as an alternate universe, it's fun. It adapts one of my favorite Spider-Man things from the 90s, which is that Identity Crisis run where he has all the different costumes. I love the ultimate version of that. There's a bunch of other, like Nico. I'm also am Runaways trash, Jamie, solidarity. There's so much about this to like. Also, my favorite interpretation of what a teenager's built spider suit would look like in any medium is this one, because there's no way. I love you, Tom Holland. I'm sure you're a very smart boy. I'm sure Zendaya tells you it all the time. There's no way your spider shooters, when you first make them, are going to be this compact thing. Like, I know you're a genius, but like, come on. So I love that it's like just him in a hockey jersey with basically arm braces to make, those funny whipped cream canister sprayers we all had in the 90s. It's great. So
that's kind of like what he was wearing in Homecoming before he got the Stark suit. It's almost similar.
Yeah. But even that, I'm like, baby, you figured out how to make these little eye flaps move like that, and you out here still living in Queens. You ain't find some way to VC get this off the ground. It's crazy. I don't know. It's funny.
I think you hit the nail on the head for kind of how I'm feeling in some ways. Like if they didn't say that, if they didn't try to make this like this MCU thing, but not an MCU thing, I think. With animation, a lot of the time, this stuff should just be fun. I think they used to rely on connections to the Marvel Cinematic Universe really strongly because everything that had the MCU tag on it was basically a guaranteed hit. And now that's not necessarily the case, as we've seen with Quantumania and the Marvels and some of the viewership on the shows being down a bit. So I think now we could just embrace that these are fun things that they're not necessarily going to inform you about the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the sacred timeline. They could just go be a fun animated show like they already are on Disney Plus. It just so happens these ones are coming from Marvel Studios under Marvel Animation, which I think would then make me more excited if I just got to set the expectation that way. But
AC Bradley had a tweet after What If of basically saying or a quote that was like, yeah, in season 1 we had to do the Spider-Man episode, the Iron Man episode, all of the heavy hitters, and then in season 2 they got to kind of have more fun with it and show the lesser known characters and kind of branch off and be their own thing. And so I think that is helping your argument in a way of like, these shows are so much more enjoyable if we don't have to think about the ramifications at all.
Yeah. All right, we got one more show this year, and I know somebody who is very excited about it.
Best for last, we've got Agatha. Supposedly, The Darkhold Diaries is supposedly the name of this show. I'll believe it when I see it. I've just taken to calling it Agatha. But Queen Catherine Hahn is back with an amazing cast. We got Patti LuPone in there. We've got Aubrey Plaza. There are like 10 WandaVision actors coming back for the show. Emma Caulfield, Deborah Jo Rupp, a bunch of others. And then there's an exciting lineup of other newcomers. We got Joe Locke. It's just like a nonstop fest of exciting people. But the big question is, do we think the Agatha show will recapture the magic of WandaVision? And I will answer right now, and I will say I just don't think it's possible. Mainly because even this show, I think, is going to be amazing. And even if it is as good as WandaVision, which I'm hoping for, I just don't see the internet being as obsessed because WandaVision was the first thing back after the pandemic gave us a year off of Marvel. And it doesn't matter what it is, the excitement isn't going to be back to that level in the year 2024. What do you guys think?
I was going to say, I think like capturing the magic means two different things to me. I think in terms of the hype and the conversation, absolutely not. I think we're going to very rarely get anything like that anymore with this franchise. It's just like that was a lightning in the bottle moment. But I think technically and narratively and just like with the attention to detail and the ambitiousness, I think they are going to capture what WandaVision did. It's just not going to have the same response as the first time.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm going to add parameters to my answer, which are excluding the number of people talking about it and the sort of zeitgeist of it all. Then I'm going to try to switch it up here and be an optimist and say yes, because I think Agatha could be really, really cool. I realistically, I know it's not going to have the same viewership. It's not going to have the same crazy everybody's talking about it moment that WandaVision had. It doesn't have everything going for it that WandaVision did in terms of time of release. Characters, there's no denying Wanda and Vision were Avengers Endgame heroes. They were the first ones we saw, other than Spider-Man Far From Home, post-pandemic. We had the whole gap year and everything. So it doesn't have that, but it has a lot of other really good things going for it. It has being the follow-up to WandaVision in itself going for it. I think for those of us who watch it, it is going to feel great. It's going to be really exciting. But obviously, no, I don't think it's going to reach that level of mainstream phenomena that WandaVision did.
To quote social media's Ponytail King, I refuse your premise. I don't care. I just think that this is going to be a great moment to prove that some of that stuff was not a fluke, because of course it's not going to be that, but it doesn't have to be. And why? Why do I ask anyone watching, like, why do you need that back? Like, why? First of all, we all are locked in our houses. Do you really want early 2021 back? Are you sure? I'm not. I think that Catherine Hahn is a special performer. The cast is easily the most anticipated I've had for any of these live action MCU shows for the past 2 years. Easily. Eric Andre's in this thing. Like, what?
Oh, yeah.
Patti LuPone's in this thing. Like, what? Come on. Like, stop. So I'm excited for that. I don't really care. Like, there's like 2 wars going on. Like, there's so much going on that was not going on in 2021 that I'm like, it's a false premise. I don't understand it. So I'm just hoping that we enjoy it. I think Catherine Hahn will be great in this. I am kind of curious if they're gonna find some way to work Lizzie back in this, but that's a cherry on top of an already decadent cake. I'm already getting what I want. I don't need anything else, but that would be awesome.
Senior Scratchy.
Senior Scratchy.
Oh, man. Well, all right. That's all the movies and shows coming in 2024. If things hold up to the schedule and nothing gets added. Big ol' if, though. You never know anymore. So let us know of all the titles we just named, which are, let's start with the movies. Madam Web, Deadpool 3, Kraven the Hunter, Venom 3, and then on TV, Echo, X-Men 97, Eyes of Wakanda, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, Agatha Darkhold Diaries. Which title are you most excited for? Drop a comment, let us know. And it's a great opportunity to subscribe to the YouTube channel while we take this quick break, because when we come back, got a little exclusive insights about Avengers Tower. Welcome back to Phase Zero. A bit of a credit scene here. We don't usually have something after a third break. There usually is no third break, but we had one today because in the Echo Junket, which the interviews are coming through to the Phase Zero YouTube channel and on comicbook.com, got to talk to a few people. Brad Winderbaum knows a thing or two about everything going on at Marvel Studios because he's one of the higher ranking executives. He's also in charge of television animation and streaming. He mentioned New York City to me, and when you see the full interview, you'll see the conversation. But I asked him a question I've been asking myself and the entire world for a long time. Will I ever know who bought Avengers Tower? See what he said. Question I've been dying to have answered for I think 7 years now. Am I ever going to know who bought Avengers Tower?
Brandon, I'm just going to honestly, yes. Yes, you will.
I can't wait. Oh my gosh. I have my theories and it's part of the fun.
Wow.
You did it.
It's happening.
Happy New Year.
Are you going to be happy no matter what, or are there outcomes that you're going to hate at all? Like, could this is it like no matter what you don't care as long as you have the answer, or are you going to be ticked off if it's somebody that you don't like?
There definitely could be an answer that would be hugely disappointing. But if it's the Baxter Building or it's Fisk Tower, it becomes just as long as it becomes something that's integral and becomes like a landmark that's relevant and like an icon in the MCU, I'm here for it. That said, I'm ready for the Avengers to have a place. Like, give us Avengers Mansion at this point. Give us the HQ was so dull looking. I thought it was cool, but it was just a box. Avengers HQ in upstate New York. I thought Avengers Tower was such a cool, iconic piece of set imagery. I want something like that. So for Avengers Tower, I think if it becomes just kind of an irrelevant thing in New York City, I guess to be optimistic, it's well, at least it wasn't forgotten entirely. But we've seen New York City so many times, and they show every part of the skyline except that part over Grand Central Station. I did ask one more person about Avengers Tower, a potential buyer. And here's what he had to say. I talk about probably more than anybody else in the world. It's one I've been wanting to know, and your character comes up as the answer to it for many years now. Did you buy Avengers Tower?
I can't answer any of those questions. Nobody's ever asked me that, though. I'm surprised you're actually, now that you've asked, you're the first person who's ever asked me that.
First of all, the fact that he even knows the question tells me he bought it. The fact that he knows why I'm asking and understands means Vincent D'Onofrio's Wilson Fisk bought that thing, and I hope we find out in Echo. I'm here for that. But also, he lied, so who knows? Because I have asked him that before, just not on camera. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this on camera and get the clip. At the ICC Con in Nashville, it was him and Charlie Cox, and I asked them about Avengers Tower. They didn't even give that much of an answer, though. But I was, man, I literally have asked you this question once before.
I can't wait to see what rooms of Avengers Tower are just shrines to Vanessa. That's great.
Oh, that would be rich. That would be rich. The Netflix show. Oh, actually, I don't. there is going to be a scoop coming out about the Netflix shows and the MCU and the question we keep asking about whether or not they're canon. I didn't ask the question. I have a friend who asked the question at another outlet, so I don't know if they ran it yet, so I don't want to say it. But there is a firm answer to that question, is my understanding. And we're all going to be very excited to have a firm answer, at least those of us who care about that, whether or not the Netflix shows count as part of the story going forward from Marvel Studios. So that will finally get an actual answer.
If it's what you think, if it's what I think it is, I think they are ready. I think they are ready. I'm gonna check.
Yeah,
about
the chat is saying that it already is out.
If
so.
you're talking about Screen Rant,
Yes,
I
yeah.
am.
then yeah, I haven't seen the clip, but I did talk to Joe right after he did that interview. And apparently Brad Winderbaum, I think it was, told them straight up, yes, the Netflix shows are canon to the MCU stories. So I think that's really cool. That's a nice update right there.
But like, really, or in a way that didn't Feige just say every single thing that's ever been a Marvel is also canon? Is it in that way, or it's in the main universe?
I have to watch the interview to get it, but the way Joe told me that he walked out of the room and he told me what they said, he said, is the events of Daredevil canon to this Daredevil's story? And also, I'll say this, in the interview with Brad Winderbaum, which is going to be coming up on Phase Zero, he told me that the Daredevil suit in Echo is the Netflix suit.
It is.
It's just like they found a new red for it, but it's the same suit. So it's kind of really seems to be lining up that the events of Daredevil on Netflix are part of this Daredevil who we saw in She-Hulk, who we saw in Spider-Man No Way Home, who we will see in Echo, who we will see in Daredevil Born Again. That's all. He's got a long story, and it already started on Netflix, and now it's on Disney+. That's my understanding of it.
I was going to say, like, having these shows now on Disney Plus, I think it's like less confusing just to say that they're canon. Because if you're a new person who just wants to watch Daredevil stuff on Disney Plus, and then you're told, oh, these 3.5 seasons of stuff are not canon, that's just going to be really confusing. So I'm glad we finally have an answer.
This is the quote from Screener. Richard Pangman just dropped it in here. And I'm trusting our comment section on this one. I suggest going to check out our friends at Screen Rant. They do great work, and I have a lot of good friends who work over there. Marvel Studios considers Netflix's Daredevil series to be fully part of the MCU's central timeline, according to executive producer Brad Winderbaum. So, how's that for a credit scene? Good job, Screen.
All right, let's do Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. next. Let's go.
Well, that's what the quote from Feige says, right? Is that all the stuff that precedes is canon in its own way, and that as time goes on, we'll see if things end up matching up with our sacred timeline or not, or whatever. Which is funny because somebody ran that quote. That quote's been out for 2 months. I wrote it up for the site 2 months ago. It's in the official timeline book. Shout out to the people who wrote that.
But Feige still played it, you know.
New. Huh?
He still played it like a politician, though.
Yeah.
Well, they're gonna want to pick and choose. It's like, listen, the superhero squad is not gonna be in Secret Wars. I'm sorry, guys. Unless it's the gag. Like, Scotty Young's version of the Avengers is probably not gonna be in Secret Wars, y'all. But if they want to pick and choose, and they can pay enough money, and Miles is in there from Spider-Verse, or the Daisy John, like they roll it, like fine, If our friend is done making plane and ship and all those things that he wants to be in it, fine. They'll bring it back. But like everything isn't going to be in there,
I've said it a million times. Who cares? It's all canon. Nick Cage is Ghost Rider. Wesley Snipes is Blade. It's all part of it, because that's what the word canon is extending to the multiverse. It's all canon. Who cares?
Loki's just standing there holding them all together.
Yep.
That's right.
They're all in Loki's hands now. All right,
Joe. Yeah, he's got Howard the Duck over here. He's got Hasselhoff as Nick Fury over here. He's ready.
No, he doesn't have that one. He doesn't have that.
Yeah,
one.
he does. No, he does. He does. He literally does.
All right, y'all. That is our 2024 first episode of Season 4 preview show of Phase Zero. Thank you, everybody who watched with us. If you're a first-time watcher or listener, thank you so much for joining us. We hope you stick with us for the rest of the year. We have a great time. Lots of stuff to look forward to. We're going to make it a good year. We got a bonus episode on Friday you're not going to want to miss. So subscribe to the channel to get notified when it goes live, and then listen to it on all major podcast platforms. Jenna, any last words for today's show?
It's at Hey It's Jenna Lynn on social media. And as always, go read some comics.
Jamie Jurek.
Yeah, follow me on the socials at Jamie Jirak or at Jamie Cinematics on Twitter. Enjoy the beginning of your year. I've been watching a lot of 2004 movies because they are all turning 20, and it's wild to think about. Spider-Man 2, 20 years old. Mean Girls, 20 years old.
Stop. This
So-
is not how we want. I feel so old. Aaron Perrine.
It's at Something Corner on Twitter. I thank everybody for watching. Happy birthday to Florence Pugh. Go eat some weird macaroni and cheese with hot sauce in it if you're so inclined. Also, please just watch Echo. I've seen people dissecting things from 4 second. Like, just watch the show, guys. You don't have. I promise you have to do this because Brandon just told us it's the same suit, and people were like, Disney ruined the suit. I can't believe they ruined. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's the same one from Netflix. And then you tell me that, and I'm like, well, look at that. Imagine that.
Oops. They might feel a little dumb.
Yeah,
But
a little bit.
that's okay.
Probably not though. Like, people are bold. I don't feel bad about them.
That's yeah. All right, y'all. Well, thank you so much again. Play our show for your mom, play it for your dog, leave a 5-star review, and we'll see you on Friday for an awesome bonus episode. We'll be back Wednesday for our regularly scheduled program at 12 p.m. Eastern time on the Phase Zero YouTube channel and on every major podcast platform. Happy New Year. Let's make it a good one.